Hey Zodiac, thanks for joining me on the SAINTCON Hallway. Let's start there. How did you get your hacker name Zodiac? Is it from all the murders or?
So I got it like when I was probably 8. My brother used to skate a lot, and I'd hang out with him, being the annoying little brother to tag along all the time. And he had a friend that thought he was a genius but was not so bright. And one day he's like, "I just made up a word. I made up the word Zodiac. That's cool. I'm gonna call you Zodiac." And so to make fun of Mike, everyone started calling me Zodiac. They're like, "You didn't make up Zodiac. You're an idiot." And it kind of stuck from when I was 8 till now. And when I started getting on IRC back in the 90s, I was like, what am I going to do? Oh, Mike called me Zodiac. That's what I'm going to do. And it kind of just stuck from habit ever since then.
Nice. Awesome. Well, speaking of that, what is your origin story to InfoSec?
Miles. No,
A
really.
lot of people don't know who Miles is, so I mean, you got to give us
So
some
it,
backstory here.
it started, I spent a lot of time on IRC in high school, and from running John the Ripper on my high school's Spark station and getting caught by the admins. That was fun. Sending emails to the student body president from president@whitehouse.gov. That was fun.
What? I like this already.
So I like dabbled and did stupid things in high school like any other script kiddie. And then when I went to college, Miles worked for USU, and he had a habit, probably still does at BATC, of like finding the wayward youth of tomorrow and redirecting their efforts for good. And so Josh Dustin and he worked at the service desk at USU, and Miles caught us. We would have contests to go to the labs and see who could come back with the most passwords from other people. And when Miles got wind of this, instead of throwing the book at us, he's like, "Why don't you guys come and work for me in security?"
That's awesome.
And kind of redirected and steered us to a little bit more, a little bit less questionable path in life. And it's been pretty good since then.
Who did get the most passwords?
And Josh usually won, if I'm honest. It's not hard when the network is all on hubs and we don't have HTTPS on the webmail login page, so it's pretty.
Right.
Anyway.
Awesome. Perfect. What was your first SaintCon you attended?
I don't know. I think the first one was probably one of the ones in Richfield, Richfield. Yeah. And there's probably 30 people there, and it was really cool. I was pretty excited about it. I was actually doing sysadmin work at the time, and I went just because I'd met and known a couple of the guys at some of the tech summits and other things, and they're like, you should come, and it was totally fun. It's like anything. This hallway con, the talk in the hall, the talking with people is where it's all at. Forget the presentations, forget anything else. I fell in love with the camaraderie from day one, and that's what sucked me in.
From a person who presents, you're saying don't go watch the talks?
Exactly. Especially not mine.
There you go. What's your favorite memory of SaintCon off the top of your head?
I don't know. There's a year at Weaver where we had some fun. USU kind of did a guerrilla marketing campaign. We did SaintCon bingo, and we passed out cards to everyone as they walked in the door with all the buzzwords of the year of AI or whatever it was. And whenever you got a bingo, you'd stand up and yell, "Yo, dog, I got a Saint." And we'd bring some random crap that we got from a vendor at a conference recently and present it to you as a gift in the middle of whoever's presentation it was. Troy kind of hated it because we were interrupting all the presentations, but it was awesome to just have like a little bit of guerrilla fun and hanging out.
What does SAINT stand for?
Security and Incident Network Team.
Dang. Am I the only one who doesn't remember that? It is. I'm trying to stump some people, but you guys are all nailing it. And I'm
I
like,
only know it because
security.
I wear the shirt and everyone's like, "Is that an LDS conference? What is that about?"
Right.
No, it's not.
So at SaintCon, you're on the committee. You do all of communities. I was going to say villages.
Villages, yeah, whatever.
You do all the communities, and of such, one of the biggest ones, because it's a massive badge life at SaintCon, is soldering, right? Like, it is. I can find you typically over there by the soldering area. in your guys' throne above everybody else. And if somebody, I get asked this a few times, so I'm just going to ask you for an official answer. If somebody wants to do those things, but it always looks like they're busy, meaning there's lines and the tables are full and all the things are full, what's the right approach to learn to solder? What's the right approach to learn any of the communities?
So are you saying at SAINTCON or at home or both?
At SAINTCON.
At SAINTCON, come early. It's always empty in the morning. But really, if you just wait and are patient, you can find it. There's always guys that have soldering irons in the hallway, in their room. We tell them not to, but it's kind of a losing battle. You can find somebody there. But if you just come up to the table and be like, hey, I really want to do this. What can I do? There's ways you can get up there. But really, it's just like everything in InfoSec. Everyone's like nervous and, oh, I can't do it. It's hard. It's not hard. You can do it just like everything else. We all have a little bit of that imposter syndrome, and I've got it too. I'm like, I'm not that. I sit next to Rushan and he's designing boards and doing things. I sit next to Luke doing things. I'm like, man, I suck at this. Why am I even here? And we all have the imposter syndrome, but really just jump in and do it. It's not scary. It's not hard. Sure, you'll screw up, but that's okay. That's how we all learn. And chances are you're not going to ruin the board you're soldering. It can be fixed, and someone's there to help.
Yeah, that's a lot of people I've brought or showed. I always tell them, just go over there and just say these magic words. I've never done this. Can somebody help me? And every single one has been like, somebody sat there for like 5 hours showing me everything. And I'm like, yeah, because, where somebody might be an expert here, somebody's here, and where somebody shows up and is like, I don't know how to do any of this, you're like, oh, I'm qualified to show you nothing. Like,
and you're right. Every year we get volunteers, and it makes me laugh how there's a handful of people that are not volunteers. They don't even put in for the call for volunteers, but I still plan on them being there for like 7 hours a day because that's just what they want to do. They're there for the guy that walks up like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're giddy. They're like, oh, can I help you? Come over here. Let me show you. I've saved this soldering iron. And they want to do it. They're so happy to help.
Yeah. So
the volunteers are good too, but the freebies are awesome.
Right. Right. What other things do you do in the community? You do SAINTCON. You do what else?
I do. You kicked off and remember sitting at B-sides. You're like, hey, I've been thinking about doing DC 435 for a while. And I was like, I'm in. What do we do? Where's the line? Let's sign up. And that's been awesome. It's perfect to get that going. We meet once a month up here in Logan, and it's good to get together and just, again, have the community. There's talks, but the talks are not what's important. It's the community that's important. Right. There's some outreach with the local, MIS has a security focus group, and they're starting a new CS group. I work at USU, and I've got 5 or 6 students that work for me, and some of them have started doing CTF teams, and so they have faculty sponsors that officially sponsor them and stuff, but I do what I can to try and enable them and support them and help give them the opportunity to keep going. But really, it's all about not being afraid to chat with people and to don't be afraid to put people together. Last week I was on a call and I was like, oh, thanks. One of my friends introduced me to somebody I hadn't known who was looking at a product we were looking at, and who was using a product we were looking at, and he was like, hey, let me put you in touch and he can give you a customer review. And it was awesome to get that. And I'm like, thanks for doing that. He's like, no problem. I love to put people I enjoy talking to together in the same room. And I'm like, that sums up perfect InfoSec right there and the involvement I got. Love putting people I enjoy talking to in the same room and watching them get to know each other.
Right. Yep. Perfect. Any Corona coaster projects you're working on? They don't even have to be InfoSec related.
I have this grand scheme. I finally got my wife to. She's always, every time I talk about redoing the internet at home, she's like, no, you can't do that. I just want it to work. Just make it work. If you do something, you're going to over-engineer it, and it's going to be broken all the time. Because she's worried I'm going to tinker with it. It'll never be good enough, so I'll tear it down and rebuild it. But I finally got her approval, and so I'm going over to full build with ESXi and running pfSense for my router, finally separating things out onto different VLANs and different SSIDs, and so it's gutting my home network as my Rona project.
So do you already have that done, or you're working on it with the PF Sense part?
It's partway done. I've played with most of it, but I haven't put it live yet. I haven't flipped the switch. I'm afraid of my life still.
Yeah. So similar. I redid all my APs, so I got those all swapped out, and the only thing now is my physic. Well, I got to do I put in a brocade switch. I need to actually like configure it because right now it's they're separated, but it's kind of flat. I got to do some other pieces of it. But the next step is I'm going to move from I think it's like a Sonic Wall physical appliance. I'm going to move to a Palo Alto virtual.
Nice.
But I have never done that VM sticks in and sticks out and like routing that and also keeping a network tap on it. So I'm a little nervous about that changeover on how that's going to go. But I'll have to steal some ideas from you on how you pull yours off.
Well, we'll see it might be short-lived. If I go and it doesn't work perfect, it'll be like, no, you're going back to that other appliance that would just worked.
Right.
We've all been there.
Comcast.
Yeah, not quite the Comcast router. Not that bad.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, any your chance, your time here, any book you're trying to sell, anything you want to chat about?
Any book I'm selling? No. I don't know. I mostly just, I love this idea. The hallway talks are awesome. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you putting in the time to throw them together because it's tons of fun to watch the other guys. And like I said earlier, I love how you talk to Grifter a little bit about how to approach people, and that's perfect. Like I said before, everybody has imposter syndrome. I go to SAINTCON and I feel like I'm a little guy, the dope that doesn't know anything, and I'm pretending to be an InfoSec dude. And chances, like you said with Grifter, if you walk up to people and you say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, they'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing either. Let's be friends.
Okay. All right. With that, so if somebody wants to come talk to Zodiac Killer, what's the end? What do they say to you? So they're at the next SAINTCON and they want to come chat with you. Is there something they can just say to you, or just come up and start chatting? What do you recommend?
I'm all in on bikes. You want to talk bike, not like pedal bikes, mountain bikes, road bikes, whatever.
Not motorcycles.
No throttle. No throttle.
Okay. What about the e-bikes? We've now crossed this road of you have now people on full on e-bikes blazing up the mountain. Is that throttle or is that pedal or both?
As long as you do electric assist instead of full electric, I'm in with you.
But what if
I'm
you're
all about more people on bikes.
What if you're tired?
Aren't we all tired, folks?
No, but I've done both, but I could absolutely see the advantage of at the end of a bicycle ride of just throttle it up the hill too.
Oh yeah. No, e-bikes are bad. At first I was like, those dirty people. Like I'll be riding my bike into work and you see the guy up there that he's a big guy on a bike and sitting, he has bad posture on the bike and you're like, I'm going to pass him easy. And you bust your butt, and finally, after like 5 minutes, you catch up to him, and you realize that dude's on a freaking e-bike. Dang it! I just pushed it so hard to catch it on an e-bike. But I was pissed at first. The e-bikes are good. They're good.
I think e-bikes are the only way I'm actually going to start riding a bike because I live in a pretty hilly area, and I like the idea of biking, but then I realize I have to go back, and I don't want to go up that hill.
That's why I like e-bikes, because people that won't ride bikes otherwise are like, you know what, I can do it because I can make it back up the hill with the e-bike.
Yeah.
So they're good. That's why I like them.
Awesome. Cool.
But yeah, bikes are an easy in.
So there's your easy. If you want to go chat with Matt, just walk up and be like, so, bikes. And you're good to go, right?
We're in. We're buddies.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for joining me in the SAINTCON hallway, and look forward to seeing you in person, and hopefully we can resume DC 435 in person at some logical point where I don't feel like I'm going to cause somebody's death. And I don't know when that is, but whenever that is, I look forward to that and future SAINTCONs and other security conferences with you.
Yeah, thanks. It's awesome to talk to you, Pope.
All right, man. We'll chat with you later. Bye.
See ya.